The ship appeared on the horizon at dusk, a silhouette swallowed by mist, sails limp as if they'd been dipped in ash. Captain Alara Vance stood at the bow of the salvage vessel Orchid, her breath frosting in the air despite the summer warmth. "There she is," muttered First Mate Jonah, voice cracking. "The Marrow's Wail." Alara tightened her grip on the railing. She'd heard the legends, a merchant brig lost over a century ago, said to have vanished in a storm so violent it stripped flesh from bone. Sailors whispered it wandered still, ferrying the damned. To sea it was to be marked for death. But rumors didn't pay debts. Ghost stories didn't buy food. They boarded just as the sun bled into the ocean. The deck was slick with seawater, or something colder, thicker. A faint smell of brine and rot coiled around them, but there were no gulls, no rats, no sound but the hollow creak of timber. The Marrow's Wail seemed preserved in time. The lanterns were still lit, though no flame flickered inside them, just a pale, cold glow, like moonlight trapped in glass. "Cargo holds this way," Jonah whispered. They descended into the bowels of the ship, flashlights flickering weakly as if the darkness swallowed batteries whole. The hold was stacked high with crates, but each was nailed shut, sealed with rusted iron chains. Scratches marred the wood, deep gouges like something inside had tried to claw its way out. "Captain," Jonah said, voice trembling, "maybe we..." A loud crack split the silence. The door behind them slammed shut. Alara spun, her flashlight catching the briefest glimpse of something pale skittering across the shadows, a hand, long and bony, vanishing around a corner. The lanterns on the wall flared, drowning them in ghostly light. That's when they saw the crew. Figures stood motionless between the crates. Skinless, eyeless, draped in tattered uniforms, they swayed gently like marionettes. Their jaws hung slack, as if frozen mid-scream. A sound rose from them, soft at first, a low, wet whisper that grew into a chorus of moans, echoing in the narrow hold. Jonah dropped his flashlight. It clattered against the boards, beams sweeping across the floor, revealing skeletal remains chained to the walls, mouths stuffed with rotted rope. "This ain't right," Jonah stammered. The nearest corpse moved. It lurched forward, bones grinding, and the others followed, jerking in unnatural spasms. Alara grabbed Jonah's arm and ran, their boots slamming against the boards, the ship groaning as if in pain. Behind them, whispers turned to shrieks, a storm of sound. They barreled up the stairs, bursting back onto the deck, but the world had changed. The mist was thicker now, impenetrable. The stars above were gone. The Orchid, their vessel, had vanished. Over there. Jonah pointed toward the gangplank. It was gone too. The Marrow's Wail was adrift in a sea of nothing. The deck tilted suddenly, throwing them against the mast. The wood beneath them throbbed, pulsing like muscle. The ship moaned, its boards splintering as shapes crawled out from the cracks, hands, too many hands, dragging themselves up like pale crabs. "Climb!" Alara screamed, scrambling up the rigging. Jonah followed, panting, but a hand shot out and grabbed his ankle. He screamed as skeletal figures dragged him down, their jaws clamping onto his limbs, tearing him apart like wolves. Alara climbed higher, heart pounding, until she reached the crow's nest. From here, she saw the truth. The sea was not water but a writhing mass of bodies, thousands, maybe millions, all screaming silently. The Marrow's Wail sailed atop them, a vessel built of bones and sorrow, alive and hungry. And it wanted her. Hands reached for the mast, skeletal fingers scraping wood. She felt something cold and wet curl around her ankle. Alara turned, but there was nothing there, nothing but the sound of whispers. The last thing she saw was Jonah's face, pale and eyeless, grinning up at her as he dragged her down into the sea of the damned. When the mist cleared, the Marrow's Wail was gone.